Welcome to Eyes on Books. I'm so glad you're joining us this morning, and I think you'll enjoy hearing about this novel and also meeting the author. My name is Elaine Schnitter, and my co-host this morning is Jonathan Williams. We're going to, first of all, tell you about the book. The title of the book is The Road to Tender Hearts, and it's quite an interesting title. You're not quite sure what you're going to get when you start reading it, but it's quite amazing as you go along. The author is Annie Hartnett, and this is her third novel. Both Jonathan and I enjoyed the book so much, we're both thinking about reading one of her other books, her previous books. So Jonathan's going to start out and tell you something about the story, and then later in the show, we will actually interview Annie.
Well, thank you, Elaine. It's a marvelous book. We both enjoyed it a great deal. Well, it all begins in a little town in Massachusetts called Pondville. I don't suppose it's a real town, but it seems real enough. Mm-hmm. Well, we're soon introduced to a variety of characters, most importantly, a gentleman at 63 who's had 3 heart attacks and is an alcoholic. Oh, boy, is he in for a change. Well, it seems that he had a half-brother who hanged himself, as a matter of fact. They were estranged for years. Well, it turns out the half-brother had 2 grandchildren whose parents are lost. It's an interesting story. The mother murders the father, then the mother commits suicide, abandoning these 2 adorable children. Interesting start for the book, I'm sure you'll agree. Well, they look around, and the mother, it seems, left a note that she wanted her great-uncle P.J. Halliday to be the custodian of her children. Well, P.J. is certainly not expecting anything like that. So when the child care agency calls, well, they picked him because at one point he won $1 million lottery. Mm-hmm. So I think the mother's thinking, well, of all my relatives, who's got the best situation? Well, it would be PJ. So PJ learns that his stepbrother or full brother?
Well, no, it was his half-brother.
His half-brother, that's what I meant to say. His half-brother had these 2 grandchildren, and they're coming to him. He's not quite sure what to make of it. He's a strange man. You'll get to know him quite well in the book. This leads to a dramatic cross-country trip, and that's the adventure of the story.
Yeah, yes, it is. P.J. Halliday describes himself as a drunk loser. That's his own description of himself. He is suffering from loss because of the death of his teenage daughter, and he hasn't gotten over it. His marriage has fallen apart. He's divorced. He lives alone, and he spends most of his time at the local bar where he overconsumes. He actually has lost his driver's license, and he's kind of a man adrift. His house is full of junk. His house has stuff piled all over it. It's a mess. He had 2 daughters, one of whom is deceased, the other who's a girl in her 20s. Both of their bedrooms are still intact. So this house is somewhat of a mess, but also a shrine to his deceased daughter. And he was a postman. So he did have a job, he did have an income, but apparently this loss destroyed his life. And now he's kind of at the bottom, even though, as Jonathan said, he won the lottery for $1.5 million. Unfortunately, he squandered it all and has very little left. he has a little nest egg, but not much. So here he is, no license, he does have a car, it doesn't run, and a house that's a mess. And as Jonathan said, he suddenly inherits these two fourth-grade children.
Their children,
Boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl. The girl's name is Luna, the boy's name is Ollie, and in fact, it may be that they're only half-brother and sister. Luna is convinced she is not her father's daughter, but in fact the daughter of Mark Stagpool, who is a celebrated soap opera actor. And she's determined, after the death of her parents, to find her real father.
And Luna reads the movie magazines, and she is very up to date on Mark and his family. And Mark and his wife have just had a new baby, their fifth child, a little baby called Sassafras. So Luna is obsessed with the idea that she's going to find Mark, he's going to welcome her into his fold, and she's going to have this baby sister named Sassafras plus 4 other siblings. She's going to live in a mansion in Beverly Hills and live happily ever after, and she might even bring her brother with her. They don't like to be separated.
No, they don't.
So she's thinking of including him in this grand scheme.
So what a predicament PJ is in. The lady comes over from the family services, presents him with these 2 children, and soon he learns that Luna's story and Luna's goal in her life at this point is to go to Beverly Hills and meet Mark, her real father. Well, what is PJ going to do? Well, first, he has nothing to do where he is. His one anchor in life is his former wife, who is living close by, down the street, with her fiancé and future husband, and PJ spends every morning at his ex-wife's Ivy's house, and they have breakfast together. The man is endearing in some aspects. So
yes,
Fred, Ivy's new husband-to-be, wants PJ to be his best man. Well,
that's right, at the upcoming wedding.
But it turns out that Fred and Ivy are away on an Alaska cruise. So.
Yes, they're away, unfortunately for them. Well, PJ has 2 major issues when it comes to finding this woman in Arizona, this love of his life, a woman named Michelle Cobb. He fell in love with her in high school. She married someone else. He now knows that her husband is deceased and she may be on the market, and he's going to look her down and look her up. And she is actually living at Tender Hearts Retirement Community in Tucson, Arizona. So that's his original goal, is to find Michelle and reunite with her. But now he has these 2 kids. So first of all, his house is a mess. So he can't possibly show that he would be a good parent to these children with that house. So he goes to Fred and Ivy's house, which Jonathan just told you about, which is in the same neighborhood. And he pretends that that's his house. And the social worker approves it, and the children come, and they think this is where they're going to live. He clears out Fred, the future husband of his ex-wife, clears out his office and makes room for the children. He gets a bunk bed for them. He buys them a trampoline. He gets all of the things he thinks they might like ready in the house for them. And then they arrive. So once he decides to take this road trip, the other problem is he doesn't have a car. He has a car, but it doesn't run. And it's a small, sounds like a small sports car of some
his
sort.
car, yeah, he could use that.
His own car.
But Fred has a very suitable car for a road trip. So here's PJ faking a home. It's actually his future brother.
His ex-wife and future husband.
And what's he to do when Luna says, I need to go to Beverly Hills? And then PJ's thinking, Michelle Cobb, the love of my life, is living in Arizona. That's on the way. Well, what if we took the kids and drove? I could tell them we're going to Beverly Hills, but we're really going to see Michelle Cobb, who's going to fall in love with me all over again. Well, off they go on a road trip. And that's so much of the fun of the story. We left that one character, Eileen.
Yes, we
one
did.
Important character.
We did. Well, two, in fact, because there's also PJ's daughter, Sophie.
Oh, that's right.
She's a girl in her 20s. She's in between jobs. Her life is sort of falling apart. She doesn't have much going on. So he enlists her to come with him and actually drive, because he doesn't have a driver's license, and also to help out with these two children. But I think you're referring to the other passenger.
The other important character.
The other passenger is an individual named Pancakes. Pancakes is a cat, and the cat is the fifth passenger in this car on this road trip.
And one of the most interesting.
Yes.
So we're going to share with you a little bit more about the trip. But in the book, we have a diagram that shows the road trip and some of the adventures on the way.
Yeah.
Now, you know this is a good formula for a story. Put people in a car, adults and kids. You got the 63-year-old, the 20-something daughter, and the two children, and off they go across the country, where they encounter any number of remarkable things. They went to Niagara Falls. They encounter an alpaca ranch, all kinds of Waffle House. It's an adventure on the way.
Yes, yes, it is. And
So
they had a good time.
Had a good time.
And we had a good time reading it.
Absolutely.
We felt like we were the sixth passenger in that car.
It was very lively.
Yes.
And the adventures on the way, it's a wonderful imagination. Mm-hmm. So I think we're about ready to transition to our interview with the author, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, me too, yes.
Hello, now we're going to speak with the author of the book, Annie Hartnett. It's really exciting to have you with us today, Annie. I got to confess, I loved your book.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to hear that.
My name is Jonathan Williams. My co-host is Elaine Schnitter, and we're both fans.
Oh, I'm so glad to meet you then.
Well, good. We were just talking about the book. You're not going to hear that part until you watch the show, but we spent 10, 15 minutes talking about your book. We tried to give our viewers some insight into the story. We recounted some of the main characters, and then we told the story about how the Luna and Ollie get to be with PJ and how they started on their trip. We didn't get too much further, but we gave a good account of the beginning. So now we want to talk to you and learn more about it. So I got to tell you, I ordered the first two books. This is your third book. Let's tell the audience.
This is my third, yes.
This is your third book, and I'm anxious to hear what you have coming next, because I just enjoy your book so much.
Oh,
Okay.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yes, you have some fans here now. Yes.
You certainly do.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
Thank you. Your characters are very remarkable. Like PJ, the kids, oh my goodness, the cat. One of our questions right off the bat was, tell us about the cat.
Okay. So, Pancake's the cat. Someone gave me this for my desk. So Pancake's the cat looks like
There
that.
he is.
Pancake's is an orange tabby, and he's got a unique talent. He can predict death. And I stole that from real life. So I live in Massachusetts now, but I lived in Rhode Island until, I guess, now I've been here for 5 years. But there was a cat in Providence, Rhode Island, he lived in a nursing home. He was a therapy cat. His name was Oscar. And, he and his brother were adopted to be therapy cats in a nursing home. But they discovered that Oscar was able to sort of predict if someone was close to death. And it was very useful, and so that there's a news article in the first chapter that says nursing home cat predicts death, provides comfort at end. And I stole that from a real newspaper. But then I asked, that in Oscar was beloved, and he predicted over 100 deaths. Oh. In my book, not really a spoiler because it happens in the first chapter, once it's revealed that he is predicting deaths, the residents of the nursing home do not like him. They want to kick him out. So that first chapter and Pancakes the cat is named. That was the story of naming Pancakes. I think is funny because I gave it to my friend to read, and she said, "I love it, but you have to change the cat's name. It's too goofy." And I was like, absolutely not. No. I would change a lot of things, but his name is Pancakes. And then I've been on book tour pretty much all year. The book is almost a year old. It'll be a year old at the end of April. And the number one question that people ask me is about the cat's name, why his name is Pancakes and not Pancake. And then I ask them what they name their cat, and it's always like, Mr. Fluffy Pants. And I'm like, it's because people name cats and dogs and like animals funny things. So so that's the story of Pancakes.
Well, he's a fascinating character in the story and a real character in the story. He has insights, and he's actually triggers many of the actions in the story ensue from something Pancakes does.
And you give him a voice too, Annie, at certain points. You have him speaking, which is interesting.
The book is in omniscience, so I was able to hopefully, when I wrote the first chapter about Oscar or about Pancakes, I was like, nobody's going to let me get away with a talking cat. But then I realized that it actually let me get away with everything else I wanted to get away with, which was a book that was about a very comedic book about every bad thing that can happen to a family.
That's true.
So the cat turned out to set me free to do everything. Because if you can buy that there's a talking cat, you're on board for a lot of other hijinks. Well, so it sets the tone in a really it was really a fun way to start the book for me to write it.
May I make an observation? You say that's a talking cat. To me, No, to me, it's something more than that. I was telling Elaine earlier, I have an odd feeling reading your book, honestly. I feel like I'm hearing the people and the animals. Often an author will describe, well, he thought, or she reacted, or he did this. In your case, I'm reading the book and I'm hearing Luna, I'm hearing Oliver, I'm hearing PJ, and the cat. It wasn't a voice, it was actually, I get it. Like when you relate to a character and you hear them. So that was a really unusual experience for me, but I treasure that.
Yeah, almost
That's
like
a very high compliment. Thank you.
Almost like they're present.
Yes.
They're with us. And we're listening to them.
Well, it's important because we're on the road trip with them. I mean, so we're in the car. Yeah. And the thoughts, it wouldn't work if you tried to describe at a given moment, well, Luna was thinking this, and Ollie was thinking that, and PJ, no. You actually hear them. So
yeah, you feel
wonderful job there.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's so nice. And so I want to tell you my father, because he is, his name is PJ Hartnett.
Oh, boy.
And so PJ Holiday is very much, they're not the same person, but there are qualities that they share. My dad is he's a very loving, very generous, loves people. They do call him the mayor at the local bar. He would want you to know that he's not an alcoholic and a hoarder. And he's still married to my mom. If he wasn't married to my mom, he definitely would be an alcoholic and a hoarder. And my mom's a bird watcher, so I kind of imagined, if she did leave him, who would she leave him for? So in the book, Ivy, PJ's ex-wife, is married to a bird watcher.
Oh, Fred is the bird watcher, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you do borrow.
Yeah.
So I just borrowed sort of his personality, and then my grandfather was also named PJ Hartnett, and he was a big storyteller. He's no longer alive, but he would tell these like grand stories, which is something that PJ Holiday does, and they would not always be true. He would change them a little bit, or he would make up totally like lies. Like he went on the only time I think he ever went out of the country, he went on a cross-country road trip in Ireland with my dad and my older brother. And in the pubs in Ireland, he would tell everyone that he was Terry Bradshaw's quarterback coach, which was not true. And it's also such a weird thing to tell people no matter where you are, but it's especially weird to say in Ireland where people don't know who Terry Bradshaw is.
Yeah.
So he was just a character, and he did really do the lollipop trees that are in the book. He put lollipops in the tree.
Look forward to that, readers.
But yeah, finding out what a lollipop tree is, and then people make lollipop trees now for me when I go to bookstores, which I love.
Tell your dad, I mean this sincerely, tell your dad the PJ that I got to know in the book is an admirable character.
Yeah.
I really is. I really appreciate the man. Certainly, he was an alcoholic, and he's doing his very best not to be. But among the things that show up in the book that are so important are the themes of the book. For example, I think redemption. Redemption is an important theme in the book. I think for PJ, it's a second chance.
Did you test drive that trip at all, Annie? Or had there been places you had been?
I have been on many cross-country road trips, but not that particular route. I drove once across the U.S. from Massachusetts to California, or Massachusetts to Seattle, and then down to California. And I kept a diary when I did that, so some of the details from that trip, like even there's a roadside sign that says, we reject animal activists. I put that in there because that was from the road trip, which is something I wrote down. On that road trip, we did go to Niagara Falls, and I went to Niagara Falls with Bobby Leach's ancestor. So my friend was the descendant, I don't know how far back, of Bobby Leach. And Bobby Leach is mentioned just a tiny bit in the book. Bobby Leach was the second person to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel and survive.
That's what.
And then what I, sort of think is amusing, sad but amusing, is that he survived going over the barrel in Niagara Falls, but 3 months later he slipped on an orange peel and then died of gangrene from the wound.
Oh,
so
goodness.
it like fits in with the themes of the book. Once everyone has read the book, they will understand. But that death is going to come for us all, and we don't know what will happen. It might be something like you might survive something like going over Niagara Falls, but something as silly as an orange peel could be the thing that takes you out. So you can't always be prepared for death. And so I put that in the book. And then, but I'd never actually been to Texas until now. I've been to Texas for book tour, but I had not been before. But I wanted them to go to Tucson, Arizona. I wanted them to end in Tucson because when I was living in California, I spent a night at a retirement home with a bunch of friends. We all crashed with someone's grandma so we could go skydiving the next day. So we were all like 20s, early 20s, 15 kids sleeping on the floor of a retirement home. So I needed it to be in Tucson to kind of just for my own amusement.
So a lot of your writing brought back a lot of memories too that you had from your travels.
Yeah, I'll take like little scraps.
Yeah.
And put them in there to try to like make it come alive in my brain so that I can see and I can hear the characters. But it's kind of like, I make up a lot of it, but I take like, I kind of need these like small footholds to grab onto. So I'll take little scraps from my life and then I build around from that.
That's a great idea because in a way it feels real and you can make it real for your readers, which you do. You do a good job.
Very good job.
Yeah.
Annie, one question I like to ask authors, we have a number of book clubs and script writing clubs here where we are, and one of the questions I like to ask is your writing style. When did you decide you wanted to be a writer?
So I decided I wanted to be a writer in my final semester of college. I was a philosophy major and an environmental studies minor. I've always liked animals a lot, as anyone who's read my work can tell. But I didn't really know what I wanted to be like when I grew up. And then I took a class with a creative writing class, and the professor told me that he thought the story that I had handed in was quite good, and that if I wanted to, I could probably go to graduate school for writing, and that I could go for free. So I could, they have a lot of the bigger universities, you go for free in exchange for teaching English composition. So you don't graduate with a ton of debt. And I just thought that was the best deal ever. So, so that's, once I had it, once he suggested it to me, I was like a dog with a bone, like didn't want to do anything else. And so I was really focused after that, but it was just the one conversation. Before that, I had liked writing. But so I didn't, a lot of people say I wanted to be a writer ever since I was a small child. And at this point, I know that I got an early start, but at the time, it didn't feel like, it was something I always wanted to do.
That's wonderful to hear that, the power of a teacher.
Yeah.
And what they can do for a person's life.
We don't have a lot more time. I'd like to ask one question. Have you been approached by a movie studio about film rights? I think your book would be, this one, Road to Tender Hearts, would be a wonderful movie. It's got all the key ingredients. You got your road trip across America. You've got themes of redemption and hope and children and rescuing and humor. And it would make a wonderful movie.
And a cat.
And a cat.
And a cat. Everybody needs a cat.
I mean, all those ingredients are very popular now.
Yeah, so nothing yet. There's definitely, the book has done well this year. People are starting to send emails and with interest, but so hopefully there will be a film at some point. Nothing that has happened yet for sure, but it's all because people are responding to the book and feeling the way that you say you do, that they want a movie too. So keep saying that to anyone who will listen, and we'll try to make it happen.
It's been a wonderful experience talking with you, and we certainly wish you the best.
Yes,
you're
yes.
You're on a great path.
Yeah, very talented Thank
Thanks
you.
very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you all enjoyed our program this morning, and I'm sure that you're going to want to look into Annie Hartnett's work, maybe this book, The Road to Tender Hearts, or one of her previous novels. So thanks for joining us, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.